At my Silver Aegis Medal ceremony, Mom leaned close and whispered, "The Army fixed nothing about you." I smiled for the cameras while my fists clenched until blood pooled in my palms. 3 minutes later, the entire ballroom rose in applause. Dad raised his champagne glass and disowned me on live television. They thought they'd won by silencing me in front of the cameras. But I'm a logistics officer. What I do best isn't shooting, it's cutting supply lines. That night, I opened an after-action report for a new mission liberating myself and making the enemy sign for the invoice. My name is Harper Quinn, Captain, United States Army, and I've survived IED blasts, supply convoy ambushes, and 48-hour operational tempos, but nothing prepared me for the precision strike my own family executed at my medal ceremony. The old river ballroom gleamed with that particular brand of New Hampshire respectability, crystal chandeliers casting geometric patterns across white tablecloths, American flags flanking the podium like sentries. 200 guests filled the Space City officials, veteran organizations, local press. The smell of prime rib mixed with my mother Elaine's Chanel Noah 5 as she air-kissed attendees, playing the perfect military mother. Colonel Mara Whitlock stood at the podium, her voice cutting through the murmur. Captain Quinn's logistics operation delivered clean water to 2,900 civilians in North Africa. When insurgents destroyed the primary pipeline, she established 3 alternate routes within 72 hours. I held my bearing, shoulders squared, eyes fixed on a point just above the NBC affiliate's camera. My dress uniform felt like armor, each ribbon precisely aligned, but armor only protects against external threats. Her actions exemplify the Army values of selfless service and personal courage. That's when Mom leaned in, her lips barely moving, breath hot against my ear. "The Army fixed nothing about you. You're still broken, just with better packaging." My smile never wavered. The camera's red light blinked steadily. But inside, I cataloged the strike whisper at 1732 hours, witnessed by 0 personnel, deniable if challenged. The medal's weight settled against my chest as Colonel Whitlock pinned it. Flashbulbs erupted. Mom's hand found my shoulder, a mother's proud touch for the photographers. Her nails dug in just enough to hurt through the fabric. Then came the toasts. Dad, Ronald Quinn, proprietor of Quinn & Co. Military Antiques rose with his champagne. His voice carried that Boston Brahmin accent he'd cultivated despite growing up in Manchester. "To my daughters," he corrected, glancing at my sister Sloane, who sat documenting everything on her phone for her PR clients. Though I often wonder what it would have been like if Sloane had been our only child. Some gardens bloom better with selective pruning. Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. People glanced between their programs and their plates. Colonel Whitlock's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Sloane swooped in with practiced grace, her laugh bright as breaking glass. "Dad's had too much champagne. What he means is, we're proud of Harper's service. #Army Strong, #support our troops." She held up her phone for a selfie with me, whispering as she smiled, "Don't make a scene. I have 3 clients watching the live stream." I maintained what we called magazine face in the field, the expression you wore when embedded reporters arrived. Neutral, professional, giving nothing away. Inside, I ran a tactical assessment parents hostile, coordinated attack. Sister opportunistic, using my ceremony for social capital. Witnesses numerous but conflict avoidant. Mission parameters maintain composure until 1745 hours. Minimum. The ceremony continued its choreographed progression. Local dignitaries spoke about service and sacrifice. The veterans' choir sang "God Bless America." I stood when required, sat when indicated, applauded on cue. But my mind shifted into planning mode, the same clarity that descended during convoy briefs. Fact, 7 years of automatic transfers, $400 monthly, had kept Quinn & Co. from bankruptcy. Fact. Every family newsletter credited Sloane as the financial guardian angel. Fact. My laptop contained every email, every transaction record, every proof of payment, As the ceremony concluded and guests mingled over coffee and sheet cake, Sloane posted her 10th photo of the evening. Mom held court near the dessert table, accepting condolences for the challenges of raising a daughter in uniform. Dad examined his pocket watch, a Breitling I'd bought him 3 Christmases ago, which he'd called unnecessarily tactical, before relegating it to special occasions. Colonel Whitlock approached during the reception's final moments. Outstanding bearing. Captain, not everyone could maintain composure under family dynamics. Roger that, ma'am. She studied me with eyes that had seen too many after-action reports. My door's open if you need anything. Appreciated, Colonel. As the crowd thinned and the wait staff began stacking chairs, I executed my extraction. No goodbyes, no confrontation, just a tactical withdrawal to regroup and plan. In my rental car, I removed the metal and set it on the passenger seat. The silver caught the parking lot's sodium lights. 2,900 people had clean water because of my supply chains. My parents saw broken goods in dress uniform. Time to cut their supply lines and see who really needed fixing. The Westford Station Motel squatted beside the freight tracks, its neon sign missing the T so it read Mo-El against the New Hampshire darkness. $29 a night. Cash only. No questions asked. The kind of place where people went to disappear or make decisions. Tonight, I needed both. The room smelled like industrial disinfectant fighting a losing battle against decades of cigarette smoke. The air conditioner wheezed asthmatically, pushing humid air around rather than cooling it. I set my laptop on the scarred desk, the silver Aegis medal beside it catching the 40-watt bulb's jaundiced light. 2:23 a.m. Time to conduct reconnaissance on my own history. I opened the external drive labeled Family Archive, 15 years of photos, videos, documents, originally created for a deployment in case something happened to me. Now it would serve a different purpose. The first folder, Christmas 2010. I clicked through rapidly, each image a data point. There, Sloane centered in every group photo. Me half cut off on the edges. Mom's hand on Sloane's shoulder. Dad angled toward her. Even the dog positioned to complete their perfect triangle. I stood like an afterthought someone had photoshopped in. Next, graduation photos. My commission ceremony from ROTC. 23 images total. I appeared in 4, always partially obscured. Sloane's college graduation the same year. 78 photos, professionally edited, arranged in a leather album. The pattern emerged like enemy movement on a tactical map. This wasn't neglect or unconscious bias. This was doctrine. I pulled up the financial records, encrypted and backed up in 3 locations, a habit from handling classified logistics data. The automatic transfer started 7 years ago, 2 months after I'd commissioned. $400 monthly, like clockwork. The memo line read, family support. Generic enough to avoid questions during security clearances. Cross-referencing with Quinn & Cohen's public records revealed the truth. Every month my transfer arrived. Their account barely stayed above 0. Overdraft notices preceded my deposits by days, sometimes hours. The store survived on my financial IV drip. But here, screenshots from Sloane's Instagram, Facebook, her professional website. Proud to announce my family's business, Quinn & Co., has maintained profitability for 7 consecutive years thanks to innovative social media strategies and modern marketing approaches. Talk your family business, cheer success story, cheer marketing magic. The comments flooded with praise. You saved your parents' dream. Such a devoted daughter. Your financial acumen is inspiring. I opened another subfolder, birthday gifts. The watch I'd given Dad, purchased during leave after a particularly brutal deployment. His thank you email, 3 sentences, calling it practical but uninspired. Sloane's gift that year, a painted portrait of him that looked like a 3rd grader's art project. It hung in his office, prominently displayed during every Zoom call. My throat tightened. Not from hurt I'd cauterized that wound years ago, but from recognition. This was psychological operations, executed over decades. Make the target question their worth, ensure financial dependency, claim credit for their contributions, gaslight any resistance. The air conditioner shuddered and died. In the sudden silence, I heard a freight train approaching, its horn a mournful bass note that shook the windows. I watched its lights cut through the darkness, each car connected but separate, pulled along by a force they couldn't control. Not anymore. Not me. I created a new folder, Operation Threshold. Inside, subfolders materialized: financial documentation, social media evidence, legal options, strategic objectives. The financial folder filled quickly: bank statements, transfer confirmations, tax documents showing my contributions versus the business's reported income. The social media folder became a museum of false narratives: every post where Sloan claimed credit, every family photo that cropped me out, every supportive sister hashtag while she built her brand on my invisible foundation. 417A-M. The legal folder required research: New Hampshire law on financial fraud, cease and desist templates, defamation statutes. I wasn't looking to sue too messy, too public, too much collateral damage. But I needed leverage, the kind that made opposition forces reconsider their tactical position. The strategic objectives crystallized as dawn crept through the nicotine-stained curtains: primary, complete financial and emotional extraction from the Quinn family system. Secondary, prevent further exploitation of my service record for their gain. Tertiary, force acknowledgement of 7 years of false attribution. The phone buzzed. Text from Mom. Your behavior last night was embarrassing. Sloan worked hard on that ceremony. The least you could do is thank her. I screenshot it, added it to the evidence folder. Every message now was intelligence gathering. Another text. From Sloan. Hope you're okay. Post-ceremony blues are normal. I wrote a blog about it for military families. Tagged you, dar sister support, dar mental health awareness. I checked her blog. There it was. When your military sister struggles, a family's guide to post-deployment adjustment. My ceremony, my medal, transformed into content for her personal brand. The comments already flowing with sympathy for her, the devoted sister dealing with a damaged veteran. I closed the laptop and stood at the window. The sun rose over Westford's industrial district, painting the abandoned factories gold. Beautiful light on dead infrastructure. Time to cut the supply lines and let them discover what really held them up all these years. The text came at 0600 hours sharp. I've got your 6. Coffee at Murphy's. Rook. Lieutenant Eva. Rook Marlowe never wasted words. We'd survived advanced individual training together, where she'd earned her call sign by always thinking 3 moves ahead like a chess piece. When someone like Rook said she had your back, it meant something. Murphy's Diner occupied a corner lot near Fort Devens, its parking lot full of pickup trucks and government plates. Eva sat in the back booth. Sightlines to both exits' habits die hard. Her civilian clothes couldn't hide the military bearing spine straight, hands visible, coffee black. Saw the live stream, she said as I slid in across from her. Your mom's whisper wasn't as quiet as she thought. My friend at the NBC affiliate grabbed the raw audio. She pushed her phone across. There it was, isolated and enhanced. The Army fixed nothing about you. Evidence, I said. Ammunition, she corrected. You planning an Article 15 or going full court-martial? Before I could answer, the bell above Murphy's door chimed. Noah Beringer walked in, scanning until he found us. The civilian engineer who'd worked on our forward base's power grid, the one who'd said I made supply runs sound like symphonies when I'd explained logistics coordination. Harper. He nodded, taking the seat beside Eva. Heard you might need someone who understands infrastructure. This isn't your fight, Noah. Infrastructure isn't just power grids and water systems, he said, ordering coffee from the passing waitress. Family's infrastructure too. And from what Ava's told me, yours has critical failure points. Ava pulled out a tablet. I did some recon. Your sister's been monetizing your service for years. Sponsored posts, speaking engagements about supporting military families, even a potential book deal about being a military sister. Your medal ceremony footage is already in her promotional materials. The screen showed Sloane's media kit professional headshots interspersed with photos from my deployment. Me, in full battle rattle, cropped and filtered, became backdrop for her narrative. Sacrifices of military families. A sister's perspective headed her speaking topics. She's built an entire brand on your back, Noah said quietly. Classic parasitic infrastructure. She provides nothing but extracts everything. My phone rang. The caller ID made Eva raise an eyebrow. Grandpa Arthur. Grandpa Colonel Arthur Hale. Retired. 79 years old. Steel blue eyes that could still make lieutenants sweat. Mom's father. Though you'd never know it from how different they were. Harper. His voice carried the same command authority that once directed battalions. Saw the ceremony coverage. Also saw what wasn't in the coverage. You free for lunch 1300 hours. My place. It wasn't really a question. His house in Concord hadn't changed since Grandma Eleanor died. Same pristine garden, same American flag, same sense of ordered discipline. He answered the door in pressed khakis and a polo shirt with his unit insignia. Even in retirement, Colonel Hale maintained standards. Your mother called, he said, leading me to his study. Wanted me to talk sense into you about family loyalty. The study walls held his service history photos from Vietnam, Desert Storm, humanitarian missions. His silver star sat in a simple frame. No fanfare, just fact. What did you tell her? That loyalty earned through blood alone is the weakest kind. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, good bourbon he saved for real conversations. Loyalty earned through honor, respect, mutual support that's iron. What they've shown you isn't even tin. He pulled out a file from his desk. Legal documents. Had my lawyer draft these after Elaine's call. Cease and desist for using your image and service record for commercial purposes. Also, paperwork to establish the Eleanor Hale Valor Foundation. Your grandmother would have wanted that. Supports female veterans. Managed by a board of veterans. Ironclad provisions preventing anyone who's exploited military service for personal gain from involvement. Grandpa, I've watched for years. Harper, kept quiet because Elaine's my daughter, thought she'd grow out of it. But what they did at your ceremony, his eyes went cold. That's conduct unbecoming. In my day, we had ways of handling that. I'm not looking for scorched earth. No. You're looking for strategic victory with minimal casualties. I respect that. But sometimes, Captain, you need to show force to prevent future conflicts. He handed me another paper, his will's codicil. Dated that morning. The family trust, the properties, everything from the Hale side, it flows to the foundation now, with you as executor. Elaine and Sloane can contest it, but they'll have to do it publicly, in court. Explaining why they deserve money over female veterans. This is unnecessary. It's overdue. He stood, still commanding at 79. You've supplied that family for 7 years while they played you for a fool. Time they learned what happens when the supply chain breaks. Back at Murphy's that evening, Eva and Noah had assembled what Eva called the War Council, 2 more veterans from our unit, a paralegal who'd served in JAG, and, surprisingly, a journalist from the Boston Globe who'd covered military affairs. We're not here to destroy them, I clarified, just to stop the bleeding and suture the wound. Understood, Eva said, her chess player mind already working. But Harper, they've been destroying you for years, 1 cut at a time. This isn't revenge, it's triage. The paralegal, a former specialist named Denise, spread out documents. Legal framework's solid. Grandpa Hale's paperwork is bulletproof. The cease and desist has teeth. I can trace the financial flows, Noah offered. Show exactly how your money kept them afloat while they claimed Sloane saved them. The journalist, Marcus, leaned back. The story writes itself, but it only works if you're willing to go public. Not yet, I said. First, we cut the supply lines. Then, if necessary, we control the narrative. Eva smiled, that dangerous expression from when she'd checkmate opponents in 3 moves. Roger that, Captain. When do we begin?" The first salvo came disguised as concern. Sloane's Instagram post appeared at 7:15 a.m., perfectly timed for maximum engagement. A black and white photo of my medal ceremony, heavily filtered, with her arm around me. The caption read, "Sometimes the strongest warriors fight battles we can't see. Proud of my sister for her service, but even prouder that she's finally seeking help for the invisible wounds. PTSD doesn't define you. Harper, your family is here." Invisible wounds, PTSD awareness, military families, mental health matters, sister love. Within minutes, the comments flooded in. Hearts, prayers, praise for Sloane's courage in addressing military mental health. The post had been crafted with surgical precision, no direct claims, just implications. Plausible deniability wrapped in hashtags. Eva forwarded me the screenshot from her monitoring position. She's establishing narrative dominance. Classic information warfare. By noon, Sloane had posted a follow-up blog, "When Heroes Come Home Recognizing the Signs." It featured stock photos of soldiers, statistics about PTSD, and carefully vague anecdotes about a family member who showed concerning detachment and inability to maintain close relationships. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. "Harper, your father and I are worried. Sloane says you haven't responded to her messages about getting help." "I'm fine, Mom." That's what they all say. We've been reading about veterans who seem fine until they're not. "Your father found a program." Stop. I kept my voice level. Professional. "I don't have PTSD. This is character assassination." Such dramatic language. "See, this is what we mean. Everything's a military operation with you. Not everything is war. Harper." She hung up before I could respond. The campaign escalated. Dad called my commanding officer's admin line, expressing concerns about my mental state. Colonel Whitlock shut it down immediately, but the seed was planted. In the military, even whispers about mental fitness could derail careers. Sloane's next move was masterful in its cruelty. A Facebook post featuring childhood photos, everyone where I looked serious or unsmiling. Looking back, the signs were always there. Military service doesn't cause trauma. Sometimes it reveals what was already broken. As families, we need to stop the stigma and start the conversations. The shares multiplied. Military spouse groups picked it up. Sloane started receiving speaking invitations about supporting traumatized veterans. Then came the coup de grace. An email from Mom to extended family. BCC'd, but inevitably forwarded to me by Cousin Janet. "Dear family, we need your prayers and support. Harper has been struggling since her return, showing signs of severe PTSD and paranoia. She's cut us off financially. We never asked for money. She insisted on helping, and is making wild accusations about the family. The ceremony seems to have triggered something. We're exploring intervention options, but wanted you to know in case she reaches out with confused or angry messages. Please don't engage with her delusions. The doctors say it could make things worse. Love. Elaine." Noah found me at the base gym at 10:30 p.m., destroying a heavy bag. "They're good," he said, steadying the bag. "They've created a narrative where anything you say sounds like paranoid delusion. It's textbook gaslighting scaled to psychological operations." I landed another combination, sweat stinging my eyes. Make the target question reality. Isolate them. Discredit preemptively. "So, what's the counter move?" I stopped, breathing hard. "In logistics, when enemy forces try to block your primary route, you don't keep ramming the blockade. You find alternate routes. Or..." I unwrapped my hands, thinking of Grandpa's words about showing force. "You demonstrate that you control the supply chain entirely. Cut them off, let them scramble, then reveal you hold all the cards." Eva materialized from the cardio section. "Just got interesting intel. Sloane pitched a book to 3 publishers today. Sister Soldier, a family's journey through military trauma. She's using your ceremony video as part of the proposal. She moves fast. She has to. Her whole business model depends on being the supportive military sister. Without you, she's just another failed lifestyle influencer. Marcus, the journalist, had been digging too. His late-night email contained gold. Harper found something. Quinn & Co. has been filing taxes claiming Sloan as a 50% partner and paid consultant. Your financial support isn't listed anywhere. That's tax fraud if proven. Also, Sloan's been telling sponsors she has your permission to share your story. Several contracts specifically mention exclusive family military perspective. That's wire fraud if she's misrepresenting. Your cease and desist doesn't just stop future use, it potentially invalidates existing contracts. Denise, the paralegal, had been equally productive. Defamation law in New Hampshire is clear. False statements of fact that damage reputation or career are actionable. Every PTSD implication, every broken reference, every suggestion you're unstable, it's all documented defamation. With Colonel Whitlock's statement that you've shown no signs of mental health issues, we have clear grounds. But the masterstroke came from Grandpa Arthur. He called at 11:45 p.m., made some calls to old friends. The New England Veterans Alliance is having their annual gala next month. They want to honor you properly, not that circus your family staged. Real veterans, real recognition. And Harper. They're very interested in the Eleanor Hale Foundation. We could announce it there. That's the same night as Sloan's planned Military Families in Crisis workshop. I could hear his smile through the phone. What an unfortunate scheduling conflict. Guess people will have to choose support an actual veteran doing actual work, or listen to a stolen valor parasite monetize someone else's service. Stolen valor's a strong term. Grandpa. If the uniform fits, she's claiming military-adjacent trauma she never experienced, profiting from service she never performed. In my day, we had shorter words for that. As I lay in my barracks room that night, I reviewed the battlefield. They'd fired their psychological operations, created their false narrative, attempted to isolate and discredit me. Classic mistake, they'd assumed I'd fight on their chosen terrain. Tomorrow, I'd begin the real operation. Not in the social media cesspool where they thrived, but in the clean, documented world of legal notices, financial records, and verifiable facts. They wanted to make me the broken soldier. Fine. Time to show them what a logistics officer could do when she controlled the entire supply chain. The war room was Grandpa Arthur's dining table. 0800 hours Saturday morning. Maps replaced tablecloths, not geographic, but organizational. Financial flowcharts, social media networks, legal frameworks. Eva had even created a timeline on butcher paper. Every insult and exploitation marked like enemy movements. Phase 1, I began, standing at the head like briefing a mission. Complete financial extraction. Effective Monday, 0600 hours. Noah pulled up the spreadsheets. 7 years of transfers, totaling $33,600. Never missed, never late. Their own books show 6 near-bankruptcy events that your money prevented. Cut it. I marked the financial line with red ink. Auto transfer canceled. Joint Google Drive access revoked. The Quinn & Co. inventory optimization algorithm I wrote deleted from their systems. They'll notice immediately, Denise warned. Good. Let them scramble. While they're panicking about money, we execute Phase 2. Eva distributed copies of the cease and desist, refined by Grandpa's legal team. This goes to Sloan, her agent, 3 publishers, 17 corporate sponsors, and every speaking bureau she's registered with. Simultaneous delivery, 1 p.m. Monday. They'll all receive it during business hours. No chance to coordinate responses. The language was precise. Immediate cessation of all use of Captain Harper Quinn's name, image, service record, and personal history for commercial, promotional, or financial purposes. Violation will result in legal action seeking damages and disgorgement of profits obtained through fraudulent representation. Phase 3, I continued, is the honey trap. Marcus leaned forward. The Riverview Hall event. Sloan already pitched it to the City Council Medal Homecoming and Family Appreciation Night. She's billing it as a community celebration of military families. The mayor bought in, sponsors committed, too big to cancel without massive reputation damage. And you're going to attend, Noah asked. I'm going to enthusiastically agree, publicly. Make them think I'm playing along, that their PTSD narrative worked and I'm seeking reconciliation. Eva smiled, that chess master expression. While actually documenting everything for the final move? Exactly. But first, we need insurance. Grandpa Arthur produced a small device from his pocket. Voice recorder, military grade, admissible in court. Your uniform has plenty of places to secure it. I can wire the whole event space. Noah offered. Infrastructure includes information systems. Every word, every whisper, broadcast quality. Denise had been reviewing New Hampshire law. Single-party consent state. As long as you're part of the conversation, recording is legal. With the recordings from your medal ceremony as precedent evidence, we establish a pattern of behavior. The plan crystallized as we worked through the morning, each element connected, supporting the others like interlocking fields of fire. Marcus would prep his story but hold publication a sword hanging over their heads. His editor had already expressed interest. Local woman steals valor from sister's service, wrote itself. The financial documentation would be compiled into what Eva called the Ledger of Truth, irrefutable evidence of who really saved Quinn & Co. The cease and desist would create legal pressure, forcing Sloan to either comply or risk lawsuits that would expose everything. And the Riverview Hall event would be their last chance to choose honor over hubris. What about the extended family? Noah asked. The ones your mother poisoned against you. Collateral damage, I said, though it stung. If they believe her without asking for my side, they're not worth saving. There's another move, Grandpa said quietly. The nuclear option? We all turned to him. I've been documenting Elaine's behavior for years, not just toward Harper, toward Eleanor before she died. Financial manipulation, emotional abuse, isolation from family. I have recordings, letters, medical records showing Eleanor's distress. If Elaine continues this campaign, I release it all. Public guardian proceedings, elder abuse investigation, the works. The room went silent. Even Eva looked stunned. Grandpa, that's necessary intelligence preparation of the battlefield. His steel blue eyes held no emotion. A commander uses all available assets to protect their troops. You're my troop now. Harper. We spent 3 more hours refining details. Contingencies for countermoves, branches and sequels for different enemy responses. By noon, we had what military planners called a con-op concept of operations that would make any logistics officer proud. As everyone prepared to leave, Ava pulled me aside. You know they'll never forgive this. They never forgave me for existing. At least now it'll be for something I actually did. And after, when the smoke clears, I looked at the spread of documents, evidence of 7 years of silent exploitation. Then I build something real, the foundation, supporting actual veterans, no false narratives, no stolen valor, just service supporting service. That evening, alone in my room, I drafted the email that would begin everything. Mom, Dad, Sloan. I've done considerable reflection since the medal ceremony. You're right that I need to address some issues. I'm happy to attend the Riverview Hall event. Consider this my RSVP. I look forward to our family appreciation night. Harper. I hit send at 11:59 p.m., then opened a new document. Operation Threshold H Hour, Monday, Aero 600. All units prepare for execution. The Quinn family thought they'd won with their PTSD narrative, their character assassination, their financial dependence. They forgot the first rule of logistics: whoever controls the supply chain controls the battlefield. And I hadn't just controlled it, I'd built it, maintained it. And now I was going to dismantle it piece by piece while they watched. The countdown began. Monday, 0600 hours. I sat at my laptop in the pre-dawn darkness, coffee steaming beside me. 3 clicks automatic transfer canceled. Google Drive access revoked. Inventory algorithm permanently deleted from Quinn & Co. as cloud storage. 7 years of life support, terminated in seconds. The first call came at 7:43 a.m. The bank says you canceled the transfer. Dad's voice tight with panic. There must be a mistake. No mistake. Effective immediately. Termination of all financial and consultative support to Quinn & Co. Harper, we have bills due today. Then Sloane's innovative social media strategies should cover them. She's been taking credit for 7 years. Time to see if she can actually deliver. I hung up and opened my email. The formal notice was already drafted. Military precision in every line to Ronald Quinn, Elaine Quinn, Quinn & Co. Enterprises RE termination of financial support. Date, current, effective 0800 hours. Eastern Standard Time. All automatic transfers ceased. Access to shared digital resources. Revoked consultation services. Discontinued. Historical financial data attached for your records. See Appendix $33,600 over 84 months. This decision is final and non-negotiable. Captain Harper Quinn. U.S. Army attached complete transaction history. Highlighted and summarized. Let them see exactly what they'd been stealing credit for. 1 p.m. The cease and desist letters hit simultaneously. Denise had coordinated with a process service company. 17 recipients received their notices within a 15-minute window. Sloane's Instagram went silent the first time in 3 years she'd gone more than 4 hours without posting. By 3 p.m., the family group chat exploded. I watched but didn't engage. Mom, she's having a breakdown. I told you all this would happen. Sloane, my publisher just called. This is sabotage. I'm losing the book deal. Dad, we need to have her evaluated. This isn't normal behavior. Cousin Janet, maybe she needs space. Mom, space. She's destroying our family business. Ronald, call that psychiatrist. 4:17 p. Sloane tried a new tactic. A tearful video on TikTok. No makeup. Shaky camera. I've tried so hard to support my sister through her trauma, but sometimes love isn't enough. She's lashing out at the family who loves her most. If you're a military family dealing with similar issues, know you're not alone. We see you. We stand with you. The comments flooded with sympathy for her, condemnation for me. Toxic veteran started trending locally. Eva texted, counterfire. Negative. Let them expend ammunition. That evening, an unexpected ally emerged. The mayor's office called. Captain Quinn Mayor Fitzgerald, I wanted to confirm your attendance at the Riverview Hall event. Your sister said you might be unable to attend. I'll be there, sir. Wouldn't miss it. Excellent. Between us. I served in the Gulf. I know what real PTSD looks like, and I know what exploitation looks like. Your grandfather Arthur called me. The city's position is clear. We're honoring you, not your family's narrative. Tuesday through Thursday became a siege. Mom called relatives claiming I'd stolen money from the family business. Sloane posted increasingly desperate content about supporting troubled veterans. Dad sent a formal letter threatening legal action for destruction of family property regarding the inventory algorithm. Each move was documented, filed, added to the evidence folders. But Thursday evening, they overplayed their hand. Sloane posted on LinkedIn, tagging my commanding officer and the official Army accounts, seeking guidance for families dealing with veterans experiencing psychological crisis. My sister, Captain H. Quinn, recent Silver Aegis recipient, is showing concerning behavior patterns including paranoia, financial aggression, and separation from family support systems. How can civilian families better support our heroes when they refuse help? Military mental health, JABAR PTSD awareness. Colonel Whitlock called me within an hour. Captain, I'm required to ask, are you experiencing any mental health concerns? Negative, ma'am. That's what I thought. For the record, this conversation is being documented as harassment of military personnel through false reports. Your sister just bought herself a formal complaint with the JAG office. Friday morning, the final preparation. Noah had completed the venue wiring invisible, professional, every angle covered. The recorder in my dress uniform tested perfectly. Eva coordinated with 5 veterans from our unit who would attend as concerned friends. Marcus readied his article with a Monday publication date if needed. Denise prepared civil suits for defamation, fraud, and intentional infliction of emotional distress ready to file at my signal. And Grandpa Arthur made one last preparation. He visited Quinn & Co. in person, wearing his full dress uniform with every medal, every ribbon, every honor earned over 30 years of service. "Ronald," he said, loud enough for customers to hear, "you're about to lose more than money. You're about to lose any claim to honor." Harper earned her medals in combat zones while Sloan earned Instagram followers. One of those has value. Choose wisely at tomorrow's event. Dad reportedly went pale. Mom called me screaming about sending enforcers. I didn't respond. The time for warnings had passed. Saturday morning, hour -8. I prepared my dress uniform with the same precision as before a convoy mission. Every ribbon aligned, every crease sharp. The silver aegis centered perfectly. The recorder nestled invisible against my ribs. The weight felt like armor. Eva texted, "All units in position, waiting for your go." I looked at myself in the mirror. Not the broken soldier they'd painted. Not the troubled veteran they'd sold. Just Captain Harper Quinn, logistics officer, about to execute the most important supply chain termination of my life. Roger, moving to objective. Riverview Hall glowed under television lights. The banner reading "Honoring Our Military Families" stretched across the entrance. 7 p.m. Prime time for local news coverage. Sloan had orchestrated perfectly NBC, CBS, and 2 regional stations all present. I entered through the main doors, dress uniform immaculate. The crowd turned city officials, veterans groups, reporters. At the front table sat my family dad in his best suit, Mom in designer black, Sloan in a conservative dress with an American flag pin. Harper. Sloan rose, arms wide for the cameras. "We're so glad you came." I accepted the embrace, feeling her whisper, "Play along or I'll destroy you." "Roger that," I whispered back. The program began with Mayor Fitzgerald's welcome, then various speakers praising military families. Sloan had positioned herself as mistress of ceremonies, each transition allowing her to reinforce her narrative. "Supporting our veterans isn't just about parades and ceremonies," she said into the microphone. "It's about being there through the dark times, the struggles nobody sees. As families, we bear those invisible wounds too." Sympathetic murmurs rippled through the crowd. Mom dabbed her eyes performatively. Dad nodded gravely. Then Sloan made her move. "Tonight, I want to share something personal. My sister Harper, our decorated hero, has been struggling. PTSD is real, folks. But with family support and professional help, there's hope. Harper, would you say a few words about your journey?" The trap. Stand and speak, confirming her narrative. Refuse, looking unstable and antisocial. I stood, walked to the podium. The crowd quieted. "I need the kitchen lights off, main lights up full." The confused tech booth complied. The harsh illumination killed the soft ambiance Sloan had crafted. "Before I speak about journeys, there's something everyone should hear." I pulled out my phone, connected it to the venue's system, Noah's infrastructure preparation paying off. The enhanced audio from my medal ceremony filled the hall. "The Army fixed nothing about you. You're still broken, just with better packaging." Gasps. Mom's face went white. "That was my mother, at my silver aegis ceremony. Now let me share my father's toast." The second recording. Though I often wonder what it would have been like if Sloan had been our only child. Silence stretched like a held breath. "My journey," I continued. 7 years, $33,600. Every month, $400 from my combat pay kept Quinn & Co. from bankruptcy. Noah clicked a remote. The wall screen displayed the financial records transfers highlighted, dates circled. But here's what you were told. Sloan's social media posts appeared claims of saving the family business, being the financial backbone, the devoted daughter. Stolen valor isn't just wearing unearned medals. It's claiming someone else's sacrifice as your own. Sloan shot to her feet. "You're sick. This is exactly what we've been trying. Sit down, Ms. Quinn! Colonel Whitlock's voice cut through. She stood in full dress uniform near the back. Captain Quinn has the floor. Behind her, a line of uniforms Eva, 5 veterans from our unit, and remarkably, 12 others from the regional VFW. They stood at parade rest, silent testimony. I continued. I'm not sick. I don't have PTSD. What I have is evidence. The screen shifted to screenshots Mom's email to relatives claiming I was delusional. Sloane's LinkedIn post tagging the Army, the TikTok tears, defamation, fraud, stolen valor for profit. This is ridiculous. Dad stood. We're her family. No. Grandpa Arthur's voice boomed from the side entrance. He walked in wearing his full dress uniform, every medal gleaming. Family doesn't ambush their own at medal ceremonies. Family doesn't steal credit for financial support. Family doesn't monetize service they never performed. He reached the front, placed a wooden box on the podium beside me, his medals, including his silver star. Captain Quinn earned her honors. You tried to steal them. That ends tonight. Denise stepped forward with legal documents. Mr. and Ms. Quinn, Ms. Sloane Quinn, you're being served. Cease and desist violations, defamation, fraud. Captain Quinn's legal team will be in contact. The cameras captured everything. Sloane's composed mask finally cracked. You can't do this. I made you relevant. Nobody cared about your boring supply runs until I gave them a story. The room went arctic. Boring supply runs. I let the words hang. Those supply runs brought clean water to 2,900 people. Those supply runs saved lives while you took selfies. I turned to the audience. The Quinn family wants you to believe I'm broken, unstable, dangerous. The truth. They're terrified of losing their meal ticket. Every speaking engagement Sloane booked about supporting military families was built on my service. Every dollar Quinn & Co. earned in the last 7 years came from my account. That's not, Mom started. Here's the transfer history. Noah clicked again. Here's Quinn & Co.'s bank records showing near bankruptcy before each deposit. Here's Sloane's tax forms claiming credit. Marcus, the journalist, stood with his recorder visible. Mr. Quinn, care to comment on why your daughter's military service wasn't mentioned in your business's financial reports? No comment? Ms. Sloane Quinn, did you have Captain Quinn's permission to monetize her service record? This is an ambush. No, I said quietly. An ambush is attacking someone at their medal ceremony. This is accountability. Mayor Fitzgerald approached the podium. I think we've heard enough. Captain Quinn, on behalf of the city, we apologize for this misuse of our venue. The city of Westford stands with those who serve, not those who exploit service. The veterans in the room began a slow, rhythmic clap. Others joined. Mom grabbed Dad's arm, pulling toward the exit. Sloane stood frozen, watching her constructed narrative collapse. One more thing, I announced. The Eleanor Hale Valor Foundation launches next month, supporting female veterans. It will be managed by actual veterans, funded by people who understand service, and barred to anyone who's profited from stolen valor, Grandpa added. Initial funding includes my entire estate, something about selective pruning of the family tree. Dad's face went purple. He'd just realized what that meant for any inheritance. As the applause thundered and my family fled, Eva appeared at my elbow. Clean kill, Captain. Just logistics, I replied, watching them exit into the parking lot where more reporters waited. Cut the supply lines, control the battlefield. The unraveling happened in real-time broadcast quality. Sloane, blind with rage, grabbed the microphone from the tech booth. She's nothing but a supply clerk playing soldier. I made her interesting. I gave her story meaning. The words echoed through the hall, through the live feeds, straight into the permanent record. A supply clerk. Colonel Whitlock's voice could have frozen nitrogen. Captain Quinn coordinated logistics through 3 different conflict zones. When insurgents destroyed water infrastructure, she established alternate routes that saved an entire region from humanitarian crisis. That's not playing soldier, Ms. Quinn. That's being one. Dad tried damage control. approaching the cameras with his businessman smile. "This is a family misunderstanding blown out of proportion." The screen behind him lit up with the bank records, every near bankruptcy, every salvation via my transfer. 7 years of evidence scrolling like credits. "Mr. Quinn," Marcus pressed, "did you or did you not claim your daughter Sloane saved your business while taking money from Harper?" Dad's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Nothing came out. Mom made one last desperate play, tearful and maternal. "Harper, sweetie, we're your family. Whatever problems we have, we can work them out privately. Like you tried to work them out by calling my commanding officer, by spreading lies about PTSD I don't have, by attempting to have me involuntarily committed," gasps from the crowd. Several veterans stepped forward, forming an unconscious protective line between me and my family. "The representative from Midwest Insurance would like to know if the Quinn family has been fraudulently claiming military family status for commercial discounts." Someone called from the back, one of Sloane's sponsors, apparently doing real-time damage assessment. Sloane's phone started pinging rapidly. Notifications of lost followers, canceled partnerships, withdrawn speaking invitations. She stared at the screen, watching her constructed empire crumble in real time. "This is defamation," she screamed. "I'll sue, I'll—" "With what money?" Eva asked calmly. "The $400 monthly that just got cut off, or the sponsorships that are currently evaporating?" The coup de grace came from an unexpected source. The VA representative who'd attended stood up. "Ms. Sloane Quinn, this is formal notice that your upcoming speaking engagement at the New England Veterans Mental Health Summit is canceled. We don't platform individuals who weaponize PTSD for personal gain. Furthermore, any materials you've created using Captain Quinn's service record are now subject to review for potential stolen valor charges." The word charges hit like artillery. Criminal implications changed everything. Dad grabbed Mom's arm. "We're leaving." "Not without our daughter." "Which one?" Grandpa Arthur asked coldly. "The one you just publicly disowned at her medal ceremony, or the one who's about to face fraud investigations?" They retreated toward the exit, but Sloane made one final mistake. Desperate, humiliated, she turned back to me. "You think you've won. You're nothing without family. You'll die alone with your stupid medals and your boring war stories that nobody actually cares about." The room went silent. Even the camera operators looked shocked. I walked to her slowly, deliberately, stopping just outside striking range muscle memory from combat zones. "You're right about one thing. I don't have your kind of family anymore." I gestured to the room. Eva, Noah, Colonel Whitlock, the standing veterans, Grandpa Arthur. "I have something better. People who know what honor means, who understand that service isn't a brand, it's a commitment, who see value in boring supply runs that keep people alive." I leaned in, just close enough for the microphones to catch. "And Sloane, those boring war stories you're so dismissive of, they're mine. I earned them. You tried to steal them, package them, sell them. But here's what you never understood about logistics: I don't just manage supply chains. I know exactly where to cut them." Her phone buzzed final notification from her biggest sponsor. "Contract terminated, effective immediately." "That's the last one," Noah said, checking his tablet. "She's officially unemployed." Sloane's composure finally shattered completely. She shoved past the cameras, running for the exit, sobbing about unfairness and cruelty. Mom and Dad followed, their retreat captured from every angle. As the door closed behind them, the room exhaled collectively. Mayor Fitzgerald returned to the podium. "Well, that was educational. Captain Quinn, I believe you have an announcement about the Eleanor Hale Foundation." I stood before the crowd, my real family, the one forged in service and sealed in honor. "The foundation launches next month. We'll provide transition support, emergency funds, and advocacy for female veterans. No stolen valor, no manufactured drama, just veterans helping veterans. Initial funding stands at $2 million, Grandpa announced. "My entire estate, plus what I'm adding tonight, the amount that would have gone to the Quinn family. Consider it a service member's redistribution of resources." The applause was thunderous, genuine, clean. Later, as the crowd dispersed and the cameras packed up, Ava found me outside, looking at the stars. "Any regrets?" "No," I said, surprising myself with how much I meant it. They made their choices. I made mine. And now we build something real, something that matters, something they can never steal or corrupt or claim credit for. Noah joined us, followed by Colonel Whitlock and Grandpa Arthur. We stood in comfortable silence, the family I'd chosen rather than the one I'd been born into. My phone buzzed a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, then saw the preview. "Captain Quinn, I'm a female veteran who's been following tonight's events. Your story gives me hope." Then another, and another. Women who'd served, who'd been diminished, who'd had their service stolen or minimized or repackaged for someone else's gain. "Looks like the Foundation's going to be busy," Eva observed. "Good," I said, pocketing the phone. Real missions always are. Inside Riverview Hall, the lights went dark on the Honoring Our Military Families banner, but outside, under the New England stars, something new began. Not revenge, not vindication, but purpose. Honor doesn't come from blood. It comes from choices. I made mine. Thank you for listening to this story of strength, betrayal, and ultimately, triumph. Where are you tuning in from today? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your own experiences with standing up for yourself. Your story matters too.